Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Threadlings filmmaking. What is it called again, Tran? A
Film
filmmaking
production.
production diary.
Yeah.
Filmmaking production diary. Uh, I'm Miguel Ortega, and this is Tran Ma.
Hello, everyone.
I will never remember the filmmaking production diary. So today we have a special guest, which I'll introduce in a minute. So what we're doing here is we're documenting the making of a film in Unreal Engine 5. Um, this one is a follow-up to a film we already did last year called The Voice in the Hollow, which is in the film festival circuit right now. And yeah, and it's doing really well, and we're very happy. It won the jury award at SIGGRAPH, and it is playing at Spark Animation in Vancouver next, which is another Academy qualifying festival. So that'll be pretty cool. So our guest today is a longtime friend of ours, and we've worked with him a bunch at this point. So whenever we have freelance work, we have hired. He's always our go-to guy. He's someone we really like, and he's an ex-student at Gnomon. He was one of the best we've ever had at Gnomon, and um, I could easily say that, right, Tran?
Yeah, that's very. I completely agree.
Yeah, we really we respect him a lot, and he's hardworking, best uh, character that um, yeah that we've seen. So he's a great guy, and he's super talented. And we asked him if he would help us on the Threadlings, and he said yes. So we were very happy. So we're gonna jump him into the stream. So there he is. Look at that, rock star.
Hi guys.
And let me put the little caption here. So I'm gonna pronounce it right. It's because the last name I messed it up. So David Kwahk.
Yes,
Boom.
there
There we go.
it is.
So everybody, this is David, and he's helping us with the moths. So
Yeah.
so David, you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, yeah. I was at Noman at their 3-year BFA program. I graduated back in summer of 2021. So been working professionally as an asset artist for about 2 years. Mainly episodic stuff. The first studio I was in right out of Noman was a Toronto-based studio called Monsters, Aliens, Robots, and Zombies, uh, otherwise known as Mars. So it was a really small team, but I got to work on some really awesome projects and a lot of cool creatures there. But the majority of my 2 years working in the industry was at Zoic Studios in Culver City, which Miguel and Tran uh, very, very gratefully recommended me to. So I'm thankful for that. Was working there mainly as a hard surface artist with some organic stuff mixed in here and there. Um, and yeah, also had a lot of opportunities to work with Miguel and Tran on some side stuff as well. So that's been really cool. Um, but yeah, I guess I
Are you
like to
still there?
do.
Are you still at
What's up?
Zoic at all?
Oh no, they couldn't renew my contract because of the strike that's been going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So currently unemployed, which kind of sucks. But it's also in a weird way been kind of nice because it gives me a lot of time to work on, a lot of personal projects, work on projects like this, help friends out with their projects too. So it kind of feels like I'm back at Noman in like a weird way. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you play keyboard as well. I didn't know you played keyboard.
I don't. I got this as a gift, and I just never had time to learn it. So I just use it to like store all the stuff I don't have room in my shelf for. um, but it's a cool decorative piece, for the house. So
Nice. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
nice.
Awesome. So yeah, do you want to show the people some of your awesome work? Hey, first, let me say hi to some of the people that are commenting. So Ricardo,
Yeah.
what's up, Ricardo? You part of you were part of the whole COVID? You were pretty much entirely online, right?
Yeah, I mean, lockdown hit like when I was right in the middle of my program. So yeah, the last half was completely virtual.
Last half. Do you guys believe Unreal Engine is the future of cinema? I think it's one of the tools that you need. I don't know if it's the future, but it's definitely one of them. So yeah, go for it, David. Show away.
Yeah. So get this out of the way. So this is my art station. A lot of this stuff I worked on at Gnomon, and these are all pieces that Miguel and Tran helped me out with a bunch. So this should all look really familiar to you
Show the
guys.
crab going up the tree. Let it play.
Oh,
That thing looks.
I'm not an animator, so he's just kind of chilling on the tree. But that's it. Yeah, this tool is also really cool. It's called VirtueCam, something I picked up from Miguel, which basically lets you connect your phone camera to your Maya camera to give you this really nice handheld feature. And I'm like totally addicted to this tool, like even 2 years later. And
I
like,
told you. Yeah.
yeah, like all the projects I work on now, I try to find a way to incorporate this into it some way. It's a cool little like turtle thing I worked on with the help of my friend at Gnomon, Elliot Wenzel, who animated and rigged this for me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All CG too, right? So, you know that
Yeah.
what's interesting, that piece right that you're about to click on right there, it shows up in some of not this one, but the one with the kid.
Oh.
Some of the
Oh
students
yeah.
have that in their peer ref.
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they take my
That's
class.
so cool.
I know that guy who made this.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, they
Thanks,
look.
guys.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know if you knew that, but now you know.
I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Wait, don't get out of it so quickly.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, show the close-ups. Very nice piece.
It's the kid.
It's got a lot of emotion in there.
Yeah, kids are so hard to model.
Yeah, and you did a good job.
Thank you. Little hyena. A little bit of hard surface too. And these are some of the projects I've been working on since I graduated. It's a boxer guy.
That was pretty cool.
Thanks. More VirtueCam stuff, of course.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So
This is very cool. What is this for?
Oh, it's just for fun.
Oh, it's just for fun?
Well, I mean, I kind of wanted to use it to apply for a new job, but then the strike hit and there are no jobs. But it was still super fun to work on this too, and also, since I'm doing so much modeling and texturing, at work, it's really fun to, in my personal time, do like all the other stuff down the pipeline, like rigging, animation, stuff like that.
So how did you do the crowd on this thing?
I just used Mesh and just got like a bunch of Mixamo characters and animations and just scattered them around.
Oh, they totally work.
Yeah. And did you
Yeah.
actually rig this?
The character, I tried like a bunch of different stuff. Like I tried using the MetaHuman rig. I tried using this program called AccuRig, which is actually really cool, but
I've used we can use that for testing.
oh, okay, sweet. Yeah.
So I know what you're
It's
talking
just I just couldn't figure out how to attach controls to the rig that I got from AccuRig. So I ended up just using Advanced Skeleton to get a rig, and I just painted in the weights with NG Skin Tools or NG Paint Tools, I think it's called.
That's a cool shot. I like it. Yeah.
Thanks. And once the strike happened, my main goal was just to get better at Marvelous, because I feel like at Gnomon and like all the stuff you guys taught me, like Marvelous was always the one thing that I just could never figure out. So just been playing with this a lot, and then you guys reached out to me and you're like, hey, how comfortable are you with Marvelous? And I was like, oh my god, perfect timing. But yeah,
That Sims
so this is
3.
what I've been up to. Thanks.
That's all marvelous, even the vest.
Yeah. Because I wanted to animate him.
Okay,
And
that's good. I mean, it looks great.
yeah,
You got the vest
thanks.
and that simulation
Thanks.
works pretty well.
Yeah, I tried doing the shoes in Marvelous too, but
Oh
I
no,
think
it
that's a
won't.
little bit too advanced for me.
No, I don't
Yeah, I
think
just
that
couldn't
it
figure it out.
will sim very well. It will just like blow
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That looks great.
Thanks. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Click on
And
the dragon, the last one.
yeah,
Whatever happened to the dead thing on the beach?
Yeah.
it's just too hard. And I just kind of lost steam at that point.
That was at
Yeah,
the
I just
very end, right? Was it not this guy?
It was this
It
one.
was this one.
yeah, it was this one. I had him laying down on the beach initially, but the shot that I was trying to do with him was I had the camera like right up to his nose, and I just couldn't get enough resolution for it to work. So I ended up just scrapping it and just going with just going with still shots for this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe one day I'll revisit it and try to add some virtue cam in there too. We'll see.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you were the reptile guy. By the time you graduated,
Yeah.
you had all
I mean,
these-
they're the most fun to work on,
Yeah.
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 It's great.
And now I get to work on this for you guys, which is right up my alley. Super, super cool model too. This model is just freaking nuts.
It's so you use the substance file. It has all those UDIMs. There's a ton of UDIMs, right?
Yeah. I mean, you guys split it up for me, so it wasn't too bad. Honestly, like performance wise, it's not the worst. It's just like saving. I was telling Miguel too, like saving literally takes like 40 minutes to do. It's insane. And when I do hand painting and stuff, it's fine. But for some reason, like whenever I mess with, like base color parameters, Substance just really doesn't like that, and it chugs super hard. Um,
Oh yeah.
if I,
It's a massive file. So
it's huge. It's like 30 gigabytes, per
You're
save.
seeing all the
So-
comments people are saying about your work. So awesome work. I'm a
Oh,
turn
thanks.
Gnomon. I hope I can get as good as you after I graduate.
Thanks.
You guys know each other, right? You and Ricardo. Were you guys in the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were in a demo build together.
Yeah.
How are you, Ricardo?
Bobby R, who's always on. Awesome work.
Hey,
Oh,
Bobby.
thank you.
So,
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'd really say if you guys are at Gnomon, just go to AMC. I think that's like the single most valuable resource that Gnomon offers, and I saw the quality of my work skyrocket once I started going to AMC. So, just go sooner than later.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time in AMC.
Yeah.
Tran always goes. David's the one who I mentored the most. So you're our
Oh,
guy.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
you
basically
actually
like
are
our
son.
karate kid. Yeah.
Oh, I always wish that I went earlier. I feel like there were a lot of students that were going, like after their first year. So I thought I was kind of late.
No, there's been a few that jumped on from the very beginning. Like, do you know David Eisenstad? He was on there, I think, from like day one. He's another one that is like he's like our adopted son also. We have
Yeah.
a few.
Oh, cool.
You're one of them. So
Sweet.
You're
All
the
the
one
Davids.
that I felt knows the most in texturing that has left the school. Like I have not seen
Oh.
as much great texturing work as I have from any. Well, I shouldn't say that, but you were the
Oh,
best.
thank you.
no, there's great texture
Appreciate it.
artists I know.
Yeah, there's a really great.
Yeah, I mean,
She thinks you were the best.
Yeah, I think you were the best, particularly with creatures.
Yeah.
thanks. Appreciate it. But yeah, I check out the best of term like every couple of months, and yeah, it's kind of scary how good everyone's becoming like year after year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Well, as the
insane.
tools get easier, you know, it's not as intimidating for a lot of people, and then you
Yeah.
start getting better traditional artists jumping in now that they don't need to know all this technical stuff. Like, you know, doing this stuff back in the days when you had to do NURBS and stuff like that, it was horrible. It was
Yeah.
horrific. So if you
Yeah.
were a traditional artist, if you were to go into Gnomon, you would drop out because you would be so intimidated by the tools. Now the tools are so user friendly that you're
Uh-huh.
getting amazing traditional artists joining the school, and they're completely crushing it like you did, and a bunch of other students have done. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
it's the best time to be learning this in terms of the tools
Mhm.
available.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah, so go ahead and just show us a little bit. I just walk us through the model.
Um, yeah, so there are a bunch of parts. The way I textured all of them, it's pretty much the same couple of steps. So I guess I can just show this one.
Oh, and by the
Yeah,
way,
it's
David, one thing: when you rotate,
yeah. Uh-huh.
let the image sit for a second because
Okay.
because of the streaming, it tends to blur. So
Oh,
once
gotcha.
you stop moving it, it's when you actually could see it. Do you see what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Needs to like settle in.
yeah,
Okay.
it needs to settle in.
Okay, cool. I could just go through the layers real fast. Uh,
It's funny.
so
That almost looked like it had subsurface on it, like you modeled it. You textured it in a way that it looked subsurfacey.
yeah, yeah. I definitely tried to incorporate some of that. Um, so yeah, I always just start with a fill layer, I guess, and it's just a matter of like, I guess this is kind of what you're seeing too, just adding a lot of red to the tips, and to the thin areas. But yeah, it's just using these mesh maps, and that's the thing about having a model with this much detail. It kind of makes texturing really easy because there's so much information in the mesh maps, and I'm getting this stuff like just from the model, which is kind of nuts. And so yeah, I just start out blocking out the colors. So I wanted this kind of like gross, kind of like cockroachy, rich brown color on the belly. I thought that would work well with this moth. So just blocking that in, and then also using like a thickness map to add this coloration to, like the tips of these spikes and stuff. Just breaking it up a little more with a thickness map, and yeah, just trying to stack on variation and breakup with each layer. So just adding little tints of green, some grunge, trying to get some deep warm purples in the crevices a little bit. And one cool thing I noticed, so when I was looking at reference of these moths, so this moth is directly inspired by these real moths. Uh,
The
I
death's head
forget what they're
moth.
called.
Death's head
Right,
moth. Yeah.
death's head moths. Right. So I was kind of looking at the patterns that they have, and I noticed that like they have these yellow islands, and right on the outside of those islands, they kind of have this darker outline, and then it gradually kind of fades into this lighter brown. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. Um, so I just painted in this pattern here, and I added an anchor. And so this anchor was used to introduce this yellow. And the way I got this outline with the black is I just beveled it, and then just manually painted in some extra areas where I wanted some more of that black. Breaking up the solid colors here with just, I think it's just like a grunge texture. And then another cool thing I noticed with the yellows is, and looking at it now, I think it might just be a property of the fur, but like towards the center of these yellow islands, it looks like they get a bit brighter and desaturated. And just the way that that was, I got the yellow mask, brought in the anchor, and I just beveled it inwards. So super simple to get that.
Nice.
And I also noticed, like right along the edges of the yellow, it seemed like they were getting a bit darker and more saturated. And so the way that that was pretty much, it's like all kind of the same steps. I just bring in the mask again, I bevel it just a little bit, and then I invert it, and then I just overlay that same mask on top, and I, set the thing to multiply, so I just get like this tiny little outline. So I get that. Just trying to add some lightness to like the curvature. Just bring in the curvature, crunch it up a little bit with the levels, and then just overlay some grunge texture on top to break it up a little bit. Adding more warmth, I guess, in the cavities.
Yeah.
And this, I don't even know if this, I don't know if you guys like this that much or not, but in this reference here, I kind of noticed, like kind of like car paint has these little specks, kind of like glitter on the inside of them.
Yeah, it's
I don't,
like the car flakes.
It's like
It's the
yeah.
iridescence, basically.
yeah. I don't know if I'm just seeing that because of the quality of the image, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to add that in too. I didn't want to go as heavy as this because I thought it'd be like too distracting, but I added that in as well, just like a tiny bit. And also, so I used a lot of these beetles as reference, and I really liked how, like the horns of this beetle, it just goes jet black towards the tips. It kind of, I thought it made him look a little more dangerous and a little more venomous. So
Yeah.
just did that as well, just getting the thickness map in there and just cranking it. And then just added like a like overall noise on top just to break it up a little bit more. And then I got my dirt pass on top of that. Like this. And that's pretty much it. And the way I do the spec is I just get the roughness maps and I just invert them and I crank them a little bit to get that. So here's the roughness map. Just invert it and crank it so that I get this.
So they flattens out more.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I just repeat those steps throughout the entire thing. And
Show me the face. Let's just like, can you hide the references? Let's just take a look at the model.
Yeah.
As a whole.
As a whole.
And then just zoom into, and just let it sit when you stop so that we can see all the little details.
Yeah. I wish I could show you guys in 4K, but it's just way too slow. So
Ty wants to know, he says, great texturing. Ty's another Gnomon student, a very talented guy. Great texturing workflow. Can you show us how you set up and reference an anchor?
Yeah, for sure. You basically just, so let's say you have this and you want to turn this into an anchor. You just go add anchor point. And then if you want to use it for this layer, for example, you would just bring in a fill, go to grayscale, go to anchor points, and then just add that in. And any changes you make here under this anchor, it'll be applied to anywhere you bring in that anchor throughout your layer stack.
That ambient occlusion looks so freaking awesome.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's very cool.
It's so
It
cool.
looks fun. The file looks enormous, so that part is probably not fun. But it seems like really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and for Scotty, I don't know if he's gonna be watching, but I know he was concerned about having control over like the colors of these patterns. So,
Oh, that's me.
That's Tran.
are you Scotty?
Yeah, no, I'm
That's Scrody
Scrody.
McPooch. That's Tran.
I'm Scrody.
Oh, oh my God, that makes so much more sense. I was like, who is this guy?
No, that's Tran.
Oh, okay.
Tran has a secret alias online.
Oh
and
my
that,
God.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Tran.
it's okay.
Okay, well, so Tran, for you, now you have all this. If you guys want any variation in the colors, they're all separated out by masks, so we can do as many variations as you guys want.
Okay. Well, it's not really a variation color. It's just like once it gets into the engine, it could look different. And so we might decide like, oh, maybe the yellow is too bright, and then we just want to multiply it and darken the yellow, if that makes
Gotcha,
sense.
gotcha.
Or
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
too saturated, or it needs more saturation, for example. So it's just things
Yeah,
like
for sure.
that that would help once it gets into the engine, and then we don't want to revisit the textures.
Can you show
Yep.
us there's a few things that are really important, like the stinger in the back and then the
Mhm.
front claws.
You have a question. Did you bake the AO in Painter or another software?
Well, when I got the substance file from
Oh,
you guys, everything was already baked in.
yeah.
I'm assuming you guys did that in substance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
baked. That UV job took a long time.
Yeah, I can
Miguel
tell.
retoupled it, and then I UV'd it. Well,
Yeah.
Miguel also UV'd it, and then I UV'd it on top of it again. So
Yeah, I mean-
Retopologizing this freaking thing took
It's a-
me an
it's a mo-
eternity.
It's a monster. It's a monster to.
This
Yeah.
thing is massive. I mean, when you guys said, I knew you guys were going to do this in Unreal. So I don't know why I just assumed it would be like
low res.
maybe one or two UDIMs and like a lot less dense, I guess.
No, we go
For
all
bumpers.
out.
Yeah,
We
no.
Yeah,
break
I mean, this
Unreal.
is absolutely nuts.
So let's
I
just
don't
take a
even
look at that stinger. Can you zoom in? Because we have a lot of close-up shots with that really phallic-looking thing. The more detail you could put on that thing, the better.
Mhm.
Like little black spots,
Yeah.
things that look like veins. Like the more gross and disgusting and phallic that thing will look, the better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Can definitely do that.
Right, Tran?
Yeah.
Just put like veins on it and stuff.
Well, yeah, like that, and then just spots and discoloration and just, um, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
So that, and then let's see the front claws.
I do think it should be like wet looking though.
Yeah.
So like more color, but not like bump or anything, additional bump.
Yeah.
The
Just
the
the
stinger
gloss,
specifically,
making it look less rough.
like in general, or
No,
you mean
the
just
stinger. So the stinger really
Oh,
look.
okay,
We want it to look wet.
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, for sure.
That's so horrible.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So these. Let's just take a look at the little stingers. Can you get closer to not the stingers, the little
Like
claws?
this?
Yeah, because we have a lot of close-up shots of that also.
Oh, okay. I
The
didn't
ones
put
in
a
the
lot
front
of
in
detail.
particular. So
Okay.
yeah, if you can put any kind of like brown spots and breakup on those, that'll be great because those are, we get very close to that.
Okay, for sure.
Any thoughts on that, Trent?
No, I agree. I think it's looking very good.
Yeah, it's looking awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And let's see the face.
Yeah, this face is just crazy.
So this was modeled by Sadan Vague, I'm probably mispronouncing it. He's a Ukrainian artist, ridiculously
I
talented.
mean, yeah, it's just so
Seriously good.
gross.
And
You know,
we-
like
Yeah, go for it.
No, so I thought Scotty or Scrody was him. Like I thought it was the guy that modeled this.
No.
No, it was me.
You know? Okay, good to know. But yeah, I mean, just this is just so gross, and like the
Yeah,
eyes.
his stuff always looks like demonic and evil, which is something we really wanted because we wanted this total style clash with the Threadlings. We wanted them to look like they're from the two different movies. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because when
Do you think we should put any pinks inside the mouth?
I wonder.
Like inside, like deep inside. You know, like when you look at dogs, how they have like those splotches, like bulldogs, like the discoloration.
It does look very, like what Miguel was saying, subsurfacey.
It does, right?
Yeah. Do you actually have subsurface on there? Just, I know.
no,
Oh,
um,
I think.
no,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I think that the pinks might be a good idea.
For the inside of the mouth,
Like the deep insides.
like this
Where
inner.
I have the little
pocket.
teeth in the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, for sure.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
I like what you do with the eyes too. So
Yeah, the eyes are fun.
yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. I would just wouldn't like put it black or
buggy
something.
eyes.
So-
Yeah, I mean, I was worried, because it is like a really cool model, but I didn't like I was kind of worried that like I didn't want it to look too uh I don't know, like campy, I guess. Like I thought like if I gave it like red eyes or something, it would just look really corny and like a little too try hard.
Well,
So
red eyes would have been the first idea.
yeah.
And the good thing about it
Yeah.
is we actually do have a character, a moth, that does have to have red eyes, but it's actually a really important part of the script that his eyes are red because
Okay.
it separates him from the other moths.
Yeah,
So the
so-
fact
I
that
see.
that these guys' eyes are not red at all is actually a good thing because
Okay.
it'll make the one with the red eyes actually stand out.
Yeah, and it has, like Miguel said, significant story points.
So how many moths are there in the story?
There's a whole hive.
Like how many variations, I guess, like of the models?
Oh, of the models, we only have one model, but we have the larva.
The larva. Okay. I see.
So I have a Udemy count. I just opened the model where you guys were talking. This character has a 65 Udemy.
Yeah, I mean, like I was baking out the textures for you guys, and it took like over an hour. It's like 240 files. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
And that's your outputting. So you're working at 1K and then you just set it to 4K on export and then you don't
Well,
do
not
anything?
like not even on export, because I mean you can change that setting here. Like I feel like in my experience, correct me if I'm wrong, but for a lot of these hand painted textures, this resolution I feel like doesn't really matter all that much. I feel like it's when you're using a lot of grunge maps and stuff like that. That's the stuff that I feel like really takes a hit when you lower the resolution. So when I crank it up to 4K, like all this hand painted stuff, it looks more or less the same, and that's really the important stuff because I need substance to perform well when I'm hand painting. So yeah, most of the time, especially if I'm working on something this big, I just set it to 1K
Well, if
because
it's
otherwise it's just unworkable.
65 Udemy at 4K,
Yeah,
even
it's
if you work
nuts.
at 1K, it's still 16 Udemy of 4K.
Yeah. Even at 1K, it's not
Still,
super responsive, you know?
it's still really a lot of resolution.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know Unreal could handle that much.
Well,
Unreal could handle more stuff than Maya can.
Oh
Like
yeah.
all
It's
this
crazy.
like the hive stuff that I showed you, the
Yeah.
the hive that I built, that's all just super high res geometry. I don't even decimate it. Uh,
Oh, really?
yeah, I'm
The
just
hive with the holes?
yeah, all of that is just raw geometry. Every single hole is just pure geo. It's got a ton of UDIMs. It's got
Oh, wow.
subsurface on it.
How
There's each
many
egg.
what's the poly count on it? Do you remember?
Oh, it's up in the millions. I
It's
don't
a
even know.
yeah, it's insane. Like
Dang.
these guys have environments that are made with marvelous. They're not. They're just straight out marvelous.
Yeah.
There's.
By the way, Andre says hi, Tran.
Oh, okay. Tell them I said hi.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
it brings it in no problem whatsoever. You could have all the UDIM setup is super simple. Um,
so
and what's funny is like I have an assembly of the whole set in Maya also, and when I open
uh-huh,
it in Maya and it's gray shaded, it's totally chugging, and then I bring it
right.
into Unreal
It's like buttery
and
smooth.
it's just flying with subsurface, shadows,
Wow.
the whole thing, flickering lights, and it's playing way smoother. It's because of the way the models are handled inside of the engine. So even though you're bringing in this crazy high-res model, what it basically
Mhm.
does is it breaks the model up into little shells, like sub-models, and each one of those models, like sub-models. So imagine grabbing a model and then
Mhm.
shattering it into a million pieces. That's essentially what it does. Like if it was made out of glass, and then reassembling it. Now, based on how close that model is to the camera, every one of those millions of pieces that shattered will become lower resolution or higher resolution. So as it needs it, it goes to full resolution. But if it doesn't need it, it's like, oh, that's in the distance. You don't need full resolution, so that automatically starts going lower resolution. You can't tell though, but it's basically a magic trick that it's doing. It's incredible at optimization. Maya doesn't do that. It's always showing you every single polygon at full resolution, so it's very not optimal.
Yeah.
Does that make
So
sense?
is yeah, is that the nanite?
That's the
Is
nano.
that
Yeah,
nanite?
Yeah.
it's basically
So
like kind of like mip mapping. What mip mapping does, but it does it with geo.
so does that work on like animated objects as well?
No,
Yeah. Like you can't have it on characters.
Okay,
can't
so
have it
just
on
for
the
like
characters.
environment pieces. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
That's why these guys, like basically what you're texturing here is the low resolution model.
Which is still
This is
really
level
high.
one.
That's level.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's level one.
That's why it
that's
took so long
nuts.
to do the topology
It's
for this
just
thing
insane.
because all those holes are actually modeled in there.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was the
This
most
is, I mean,
joyless few weeks of my life.
all
It
these
was.
little horns.
It was
I mean,
intense.
this is crazy.
Yeah, you know what? The horns were really the things that took the longest, and the thing that sucked about him is it's total brainless stuff, right? It's not like
Yeah,
look
yeah.
how talented or skilled I am. It's total brainless stuff, but times 1,000.
Right.
Yeah,
So, is there a reason why you guys can't just use a displacement map? Is Unreal not like displacement maps?
it doesn't like it on animated stuff.
Yeah.
I see.
It actually handles displacements pretty well, but it has to be static.
Yeah.
I see.
Well,
I see.
technically, I don't. Now I'm going to say this, but I shouldn't say this. If you're working in like traditional pipeline, let's say you're doing Maya, um, V-Ray or whatever, it takes longer to render displacement than it does to render the high poly mesh.
Yeah, I I remember you told me that once.
Yeah, but I don't tell students that because then they're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna render this 5 million mesh," and it's like, no,
Right.
you have to learn the pipeline. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
um, so it would probably I would just assume it's slower, but yeah,
I see.
it also for us like if we need to go into shot modeling, which is we'll have to as part of our pipeline, it's better
Hmm.
if we can see the details on the mesh.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you go back to the wing for a minute? What you were just showing right now, the edges of the wings. I think like if you go into like even that right there, adding more of those black splotches across the edge,
Uh-huh.
especially on that bottom one, I think will help a lot just to break it up.
Just this edge right here.
Yeah, just that edge right there. Just the little black splotches
Okay.
that you have on the top one look really kick ass.
Like this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those edges tend to be like the areas that are ignored often because as texture artists, we texture from the top, we texture from the bottom, and then that thin edge doesn't get as much love naturally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So any breakup, especially like when you look over to the right-hand side, it just looks kind
Yeah.
of,
Right here.
yeah, underdeveloped there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's a question here. For VFX artists, is Mari still the go-to software for texturing? Is Substance Painter starting to be useful? What did you use when you were working?
Well, I was doing a lot of I mean, I personally prefer Mari. But I used a lot of Substance stuff. But uh, I think it kind of just depends on the asset you're working on. Like if you're doing a bunch of crowd assets or just like some props, some mid-ground stuff, I mean, Substance is perfect because I feel like Substance gets you to like 70-80% super, super fast. But anything hero, like something like this, um, if I could, I would always just use Mari. And all the studios, I mean, I've only worked at 2 studios, but both studios had Mari. So it's just preference, I think. It just depends on which one you're more comfortable with.
They also had whatchamacallit, they also have Substance too, right? So you had a choice.
Yeah, yeah. So most of the assets I worked on was all done in Substance, but if you have something with like just a crazy number of UDIMs, Mari is definitely way less painful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, questions answered.
Last comment. I think like those spikes at the tips there, I would do that with the black that you were doing on the body and just kind of fade it out, like break it out. I really like how that looks when those spikes are black.
Okay, for sure.
Does anybody have any questions or want David to show anything in particular? Show the underside actually. You didn't show much of that.
Oh. So gross. I actually have like a very illogical fear of bugs. And so looking up reference for this one was rough.
Zoom into the belly a little bit and just let it sit for a second. There.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think that we could get more contrast in there, Tran? What do you think? Like pulling up some of those, like I like those reds that you have there a lot on that midsection, and then I feel like on the ones above that, like pulling up those reds again, how you're picking up the edges, that looks really beautiful. If you could do that, and even like those little cavities that are there, like making them a little bit more red.
Basically, a little
Yeah.
bit more contrast.
Yeah, more contrast in general, but having all the little cavities look wetter and redder. Just
Redder.
just do like a grossness pass, but I think that the contrast is just to kind of pull out the model a little bit more. Like when I see that the more vibrant red on the bottom, it really pulls out the model's details.
You mean like this?
That stuff right
This
there,
Yeah.
it really pulls out the model. You're like, oh shit, there's a lot of stuff there. And then on the stuff
Yeah.
right above that, it kind of gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
So just pulling out some of the reds, but then all the little nooks there, just giving it more of a pinkish red, even lighter color. So it just
I think
feels
that's
like
a good idea.
it feels like buttholes or something. Just really disgusting.
Yeah.
Like the skin is being exposed or something.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
make
Little
them all
flesh
like
holes.
buttholes. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, buttholes.
yeah.
I thought you said blood holes.
Well,
Buttholes.
whatever you
Okay.
want to call it. But yeah. But that
For
kind
sure.
of stuff, I would just put that there so it just looks more nasty.
I
So
think that it's a funny metaphor, but it's very clear.
yeah. Yeah, that's the only way I can communicate. The truth is, I talk like a
Everyone
sailor.
can visualize it now.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Someone's just said,
yeah. Message is clear.
have fun reference searching. Oh,
Oh,
poor David.
yeah.
So
Reference
yeah,
searching is the
that's the
worst.
only thing I would say. I would pull out the reds and then make the holes even lighter.
Okay, like
To make it
almost
look
pink.
grosser.
You think? Like,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
not like Hello Kitty pink, but lighter than the reds.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
yeah, I think I would be careful with two colors that are too bright.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you do it however you feel it works, but it's just the main note is just pull out the beautiful model work that is there,
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
especially on the underside, because remember the scale of these little guys compared to the moths.
Oh,
The moths are so freaking big that most of the time you're gonna see it from below rather than from above.
so are these things uh are they life size? Like, are your Threadling guys like little tiny 1 inch tall figures, or are they like human scale and these things are just like the size of planes?
No, it's basically this. Let me share my screen. Um, So that's the size, right? The each threadling is probably the size of like what, like maybe 7 inches in real world, and then the moths are like giant moths. So they're
Oh,
definitely bigger than real moths, but some moths are pretty big. But we're definitely exaggerating the size of them.
yeah. They're
But do you
just
see
like
what I
so
mean?
cute.
Like even in this pose, like it's all about the underside. It's rather than the
Yeah,
top.
yeah. Okay, for sure. Just more detail
Um,
here.
yeah.
What do you guys think about uh like how glossy it is right now? Do you guys want me to change anything about that?
Not yet. I think we would have controls in the shader for that. I rather go for glossy monster look, especially
Hmm.
on the underside. What do you think, Chan?
Yeah, I agree. I picture it um, wet.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're really going for that 80s monster look, and one of the things that they used to always do, this is something that a lot of people don't realize, is when you see a lot of practical effects stuff, everyone goes, oh, practical effects look so much better than CG. But when you actually look at a lot of practical effects stuff in person, the texture job is really mediocre. Like it's something that you would never accept as a CG texture. But their secret weapon is that they would grab KY jelly and apply it across the entire thing, and that would give it this incredible reflections that would make
Yeah.
it look more fleshy and real. That's
I
kind of
see.
what you have there. So
Uh-huh.
you're giving it that
Okay.
gloss that all those 80s monsters would have. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it's cool. Yeah, I
Sweet.
think it's looking great. So the big thing
Looks
is
really good.
that the underside,
Hmm.
the front little stinger thingies, little claws, just to give them more detail. And it really is just the front ones, and then
Peace.
yeah, just any little breakup. Just assume like there's gonna be a
Yeah.
shot of that claw full screen, and then the stinger in the back.
Right. Okay.
So the way it works, there's a scene in the film where this guy, like, he lands on the characters and he starts injecting them with his stinger, and from that they're gonna get filled up with larvae. And then later there's gonna be a scene where there's like a chest burster scene, like Alien. So
Oh,
he's
sick.
basically impregnating them in a demented way. So it's gonna be
Okay.
super messed up. Yeah.
Okay. Could you guys do you guys have any like shots in Unreal where you have it kind of blocked in that I can see?
The moth.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
We're gonna have them soon.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's cool. We this week we don't know. You know, we were talking to a studio, a big studio that actually wants to help us with the animation, which is pretty cool. Like
Oh, awesome.
they want to just help, and it's one of the bigger studios in
Oh,
LA.
wow.
They're like, we really want to help you guys out. We have downtime because of the strike, and we might be able to
Yeah.
give you guys some animation help. So
Oh, awesome.
these things are going to be animated by some insanely talented guys. So
Did they find you guys through the stream or the
no,
podcast?
it's a company. It's a company that I've known for a while. It was actually my first job, so I've known them
Oh, for
for a
sure.
long time.
Awesome.
And they really like the voice in the hollow, and they want to
Yeah.
with this, which is cool. Yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome.
so that'll be awesome. So, Tran, any last thoughts on this guy?
No, I think it looks really good.
Okay, awesome.
Sweet.
So, Tran, did you want to show some stuff? So, Dave, so Tran is going to show some of her stuff. If you, it's up to you if you want to hang out or not.
Yeah, for sure. I want to
Yeah.
see.
So, Tran, do you want to show?
Yeah. Well, it's not very like cool. So-
It's really cool.
yeah, but it's not. It's like it's still in progress. Share my screen.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I should have not have these colors.
So the big thing is you could just put default shading. You don't have to change it.
Yeah, but it then looks flat. All right.
That looks actually good.
So,
So wait, so let me just set this up. So the whole thing is these little guys are like our main heroes are. Let me just turn this on for a second. They are in school, right? And Kwahk, the one on the left, is he wants to be a mage. The mage are like the Jedis that fight the moths, right? So they're the
Yeah.
protectors of the colony. The reason why they're fighting the moths is because everything in this world is made out of fabric, including them. So the
Yeah.
moths want to eat the fabric, right?
Mhm.
So they're in school, and we wanted the school to feel like Hogwarts or like the Jedi temples, but it has to look like it's made out of fabric. So, Tran, so now you can show.
yeah, that's a good preface. So, as you guys seen, like this part of this is just the bones of what I was starting with early on. I just have this door hidden, right? And then that is quilted. I don't actually have the quilt in here because the file is way too big. And then from out here in this main room, this will be the hall that they walk into. I do have to work on the transition from how that's going to actually merge, but you know, I'll figure that out. As far as what I was doing, there's a lot of ceiling work.
Did
in
you?
the-
Oh,
Did I
sorry.
what? Go ahead.
Did you do all of this in Marvelous?
Yes. So, well, I'll explain part of it. So, like, I'll get to that. So, what I was referencing is I Googled Hogwarts Hall, right? And, you know, there's kind of like a way that this is structured. That's not the one I mainly reference. But basically, you know, there's a section here that's like a cone. And it's going to merge with the other cone. So there's like a set pattern. You can see it more clearly here. So I started analyzing like how these type of hallways are structured. And you can see there's a cone here. There's like a half cone here. And one here. And then there's in the ceiling a diamond shape between all that. Just trying to change color, like something like that. And then that just repeats. And, you know, and I started looking at other stuff like, okay, there's a column here. So it's just trying to break it down. And then an archway I probably want to build. And then this space here, I just saw it as a empty space that I can use as any way, right? So my main part was to build skeleton and then do some variations. So I was looking at the wall space. So you can see something here. You see that structure. And once I build that, I can say, okay, I want a structure where there's a window with some insets, or just a flat wall, or it's just going to be open and it leads down another corridor. But the main thing is that we really want this to be modular, because the first set is not modular and it's super time consuming. And it took forever. I went around in circles on that.
And there's a lot of hallway shots. So, and the hallways are very long. Do you
Yeah.
actually have like the layout? Like
No.
The whole thing?
I don't have it.
But it's a lot of hallways, so we're like, okay, how do we make this in a way that is modular, so we don't have to
Well,
build
maybe I have it. Yeah,
this
I do.
ridiculously big thing? Because this is it's ultimately a high school drama.
I don't know where it went.
It's a high school drama with characters made out of fabric and moths.
Yeah, so here's like the block. I know I have a clipping plane going, but I don't want to adjust it.
But you can see it's a massive hallway.
Yeah,
So with this setup, it'll be much more.
much more manageable. So if you look at the pieces,
Zoom into the ceiling.
I mean, that looks great.
thank you.
Yeah.
If you look at the pieces, I'm trying to be clever. This one here is just built, this is just mirrored over. And then I also built this in just this little section here. And now I have this arch here. This guy here is a little bit more complicated. Let me see if I can pull. I might have deleted it. Nope, it's right here. So here's a mesh right here. So this one was actually constructed like this. As far as how I got this, I just started with just a cone shape, and then I sculpted it in ZBrush because it just seemed faster. And I'm not actually looking for a final mesh like this for this, although it kind of did become a final mesh. I actually don't know where my file went. Oh, here it is. Give me 1 second. As it's loading.
While you say that, speaking of Mario, did you see that they released a new version that has all the mesh baking stuff in it, like Substance?
Oh, they did a massive upgrade?
Yeah, massive.
I got
They call it the bake. It's got the bakery in it, and it's all to bake these maps that
That's clever.
Substance has. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so here's like the sculpted version. You can see it's like really wobbly. And again, it really just started out like this. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll do something. And then I sculpted this. And I was not really worried that it's wobbly. So I was trying to do it quickly so that I don't waste a lot of time, because I did that on the first thing last time. So I didn't want to do that again. And then I quickly just retopoed it. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on that, and this is like the smooth version of it. So once this is smooth, let me save the scene. So this is another section. And you do want to smooth this before bringing it into Marvelous. I'll show
So,
first step.
do you actually see the underlying structure at all, like in the
No.
final?
It's just stitched. So then it's all merged, right? So like if you look at the final one here, there's no gaps. So all the mesh, it should not have like any light leaking.
Gotcha.
So it's only strictly to just draw on it. So this part takes the longest. So you can see that there's these black outlines. These are tedious, especially with how large it is. So this is larger than life size, right? So if I were to put a character in here,
It's larger than life size because just for Marvelous.
yeah, I don't know where the library went. So, but a character, like a 6 foot person is like down here, probably about this size. So then the moment that something gets larger than a human being, And the moment that you make something like out in this region, the pivot is tough. So when I'm trying to like draw these lines, like spinning around like crazy, trying to just get close to a point.
Oh, but you drew those lines?
Yeah, so this is done with the line tool, right?
Oh,
So
I
you can
see.
just draw these, and they seem easy, but the outline is very difficult. So once you get close to open edge, it has issues. So this step would take the longest. And once everything is drawn, you can use the flatten, and then anything that highlights blue, that means it's going to produce the mesh correctly. And then sometimes when you're drawing, I will mess up something, and I don't know what, because there's not a way to check the error, but I'll have to redraw it. So it's this part is a little bit tedious. Not difficult, just tedious. But let's just say I select these, and I like that. I hit enter. And then what that will do is generate patterns based on whatever I had selected. And they are automatically already sewn together, right? So I don't have to worry about sewing them. Once I have that, let me open another stage. Yeah, let's open this one. Okay, once I have something like this, these are all frozen now. And then what I did is I would just draw these internal lines to break up the pattern further. And before I, move to the final, what I'll do is I'll just grab this, layer clone it, and it's very important to keep the original pattern frozen so it doesn't move, because the moment it simulates, it's just going to slide off the avatar and it will just fall to the ground. So this part will stay frozen, and this part, when I clone it, I'll unfreeze it, and then I won't use the hard leather. So I'm using full grain, which is really firm, and that, intentionally, so that the base is firm. And then the one I'll always use for the clone is cotton sateen, because I like how it behaves and the wrinkles that I get. I'll just darken that. Now on this, I will give it like some kind of air pressure, so let's say 40, and then I'll increase my weft and my warp. And I'll start the simulation at 14 particle distance, which increases the resolution. And then let it sim.
Cool.
And now you can see that's how I get my patterns. So it's not really that difficult. It just is a little bit tedious to draw the lines, but this part is actually fast. Then the next tedious part, though, is to UV it. So the reason why it's a little bit tedious is because I don't want to shove all this into one 4K texture, because it would just be really low res. So it needs to be cut up. And you can see here, like this piece does not fit in that tile. It's too big. So then what happens is I chop up the pieces and then try to do it artfully so that it looks good. It doesn't look like I just cut it here so that I could UV it, but it's basically cut so I could UV it. I'll show the final. So here's the final, here's the UVs. And then all these pieces in the original pattern, you can see they've all been separated. So this was originally one piece, and then I just cut them apart. And then what I'll do is I'll lay out this, and I won't layer clone it, right? And once I layer clone it, produce the other layer on top, this one will inherit the UVs. And I actually ditch the space. So the only part I'm using is just the clone part. And I export that, bring it into Maya, and I have to merge them because there will be, none of the vertices will be merged together. So that's essentially how it is. It's just a little bit slow. This piece here, I made some kind of block. Where'd that go? I just did a really dirty mesh, and I kept that one flat because I don't need to do more than, it's too much work. Um, so it's basically drawn out. This one was kind of really easy. I just traced the entire thing, produce a pattern after drawing with the black line. And then I just started drawing a bunch of internal lines. And then what I do is I cut them apart. So now I have all these individual pieces.
How did you draw a perfect circle like that?
You can just draw it with this.
So they have a, okay, they have a
Yeah,
perfect.
but
Okay.
the problem is I can't use it directly. So I'll, like if you notice, like these are like circles
Yeah.
right here, but I can't just do this. It gets really messy, so I'll do something really stupid, which I'm trying to figure out like how to be not stupid about it, but I am doing like time-consuming stuff. So you can see it's not quite perfect. So what I'll do is I'll put a circle, and then I'll trace it with the Epic pen. I use this so much in Marvelous with these little dots.
So Epic Pen is a program that has nothing to do with Marvelous. It's just for you to draw on top of your screen.
Yeah, so I just draw
I
on
see.
my screen, and I just trace it. I'm like, okay, this is what I want, and then I'll do that
Oh my
because the
God.
circle is
So much
actually
work.
really difficult to edit, and I don't think you can merge lines, right? So like what I mean is, let's say I draw this line, and I stop it here, and I draw a second line here. They are two separate lines.
You can merge them though, right? Like you can select the point that they're
Can you
sharing in the
merge the
middle,
point?
and then you can merge it.
Can you do that?
Yeah, merge to point.
Ah, okay. All right, now I've. Is it merge? Ah, it's actually merge. Thank you for that. I actually was doing something really stupid. Okay.
I, I
Even
I don't
so,
know if that helps your circle
no,
problem
probably
though.
not, because there's another issue that I was having, which, like, let's say I do a circle here, I do a circle in here, and then I do one here, and then I have a line here, and I do this. It becomes actually really difficult to select it. Like sometimes I was actually
Oh
having
yeah,
issues like crazy, and I couldn't select it. It's doing it
yeah.
now, but I couldn't do it yesterday. So if I
No,
had
yeah, I
to,
know exactly what you're talking about
yeah,
though.
it just won't let me select it. So I ended up doing weird stuff like that. But that's it. Once I get past this part, just layer cloning it, then I just have that piece. So it's not so bad, just a little bit tedious. It looks cool.
No, it looks great.
It's all the ceiling though. I have this thing, I feel like I always put a lot of work into ceilings, and the ceilings don't get seen. And so I'm doing this, I'm like, I don't know, if anyone sees this, is this going to even show up in the shot?
Does she have an art station? Tran does indeed have an art station.
I do, but I don't have a lot of stuff on there. So that's what I have here. And then, this is the column, like an archway. Let's just isolate this. You can see it's super dense. And Unreal, I just bring it in like that. Doesn't care. And
It
spoiled.
just works.
Yeah, it just works. It's so fast. And what I was trying to do in this one is kind of make it feel more like brick, sort of, in cloth brick by having these sections. And then just keeping it organic, kind of like that. So that's my fun time.
So Tran Coco on ArtStation. Yeah, Tran is pretty badass. So check out her stuff. Painted Dragon says, hey, hey. Quick Sin says, the Threadling art book. Possibly.
You guys
Yeah, it would be
totally
nice.
should.
It would be nice to have an art book.
I will tell you something that happened this week that was pretty cool. We're not allowed to say with who yet, but the Voice in the Hollow, we did sell the IP to one of the major
Oh,
studios.
nice.
So
So Miguel is
Uh,
gonna direct a feature, animated feature
Awesome.
version of it.
We're
Hell
not allowed
yeah.
to say who yet, but that's happening, so that's pretty crazy.
Nice.
So it's
So
pretty
does
cool.
that mean it's gonna be like a full length feature?
Yeah,
Yep.
Nice.
we're gonna hire you.
Yeah,
Oh
we'll
yeah.
steal you. We'll steal you.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
As for the Threadling art book, I think so. I hope so. I think there's a lot of cool stuff on this project. So
You guys should make like little figurines of these guys,
we want to.
like little
We
toys.
we want to. We have a friend that does. She's a seamstress for Sideshow, so she actually makes the clothing for the statues. And we've thought about like giving her the patterns for these guys and then 3D printing them
Oh,
so that the clothing would all be real and then the head and the couldn't be, but we've definitely thought about it. We would love that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be very cool.
yeah.
They're so like they're so cute. Do
They're
you
so
guys know? Do you guys know which ones are gonna get like aliened?
Oh, of course.
Have you guys talked about it yet?
Of course, we have the whole script. The whole script is
Oh,
done.
okay,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is this is what I'll say. Let me. Oh, my computer just froze completely.
Did it freeze?
Completely froze.
Oh, can you still hear me? You still see me, right? I have audio.
Change your audio to your
Yeah.
webcam because it's definitely dead.
Oh,
Um,
James says that you're heard. So you guys, can you hear Miguel? Even though his face is frozen.
yeah, I can hear him. But yeah, his camera's frozen.
Yeah, can you just hide my frozen face? So,
Okay.
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, my computer's completely frozen, so I don't know what's gonna happen.
Probably too many softwares running. So
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, we do know what's gonna happen. Basically, the main guy with the big with the spheres all over his head is kind of like our hero, and then his best friend Mayo, who's the one with the sword, is almost like the princess. And it's a really weird concept.
Yeah.
The story is essentially uh, what is it? It's like Fraggle Rock in the sense that it's a colony of creatures living underground. However, they know they're made out of fabric, which is the difference from Fraggle Rock. And then you have like the Thing, Invasion of the Body Snatchers component to it. And then you have the alien stuff with like the chest bursters and like the xenomorphs come out to kill them. And then
Yeah.
the Jedi component of Harry Potter, which is like the hero's journey side of it, is the fact that he wants to be a mage, right? He wants to be like a Jedi, but he can't because he has a stutter, so he can't get the words out. So the words just don't come out, and whenever he tries to say the words,
Oh no.
Yeah, he's a
they just don't
stuttering
come out. Yeah.
stuttering mage, which you guys can see there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a great little metaphor for
It's fun.
stuttering, where you have this ability but you can't get the words out. So that's his conflict until something terrible happens, and then him and Mayo have to save the day. So yeah. So this is going to be like a proof of concept in the sense that it's not like the Voice in the Hollow. The story is over at the end. There's nothing else to it. Like everyone dies. This is gonna end with a cliffhanger. So we
Yeah.
definitely want a much
Oh,
bigger
okay.
story with this. So we are a little bit afraid that it won't have the same. Um, it won't wrap up the same way the Voice in the Hollow will. It will be a to be continued thing, but
Yeah.
we
And
hope to.
that's a yeah, that's
Yeah.
a tough thing for us because we did set out to go. We want to make a bigger story out of this. So then our story is not done. It is like what Miguel says, to be continued.
Yeah.
But we do get comments like, "You guys didn't finish the story." It's like, yes, we didn't finish the story
Yeah.
because we didn't want to finish the story. But it's it's they're all good intention things, and those are things that we're concerned about too. But I feel like I don't want to end the story, and the reason why everyone like Voice in the Hall ended is because everyone died. So
Yeah.
you just that's a way to end the story, and I'm like, I don't want to kill these guys. So
Yes.
There is death in this for sure, and it's not like Pixar-y at all. Like
oh, it's totally not Pixar.
it's much more horror than it is like fantasy. Well, fantasy no, but maybe it's more horror than it is like a Pixar thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the big influences are, I think, in particular, The Thing and Alien. But yeah, again, with Fraggle Rock to it. So
So I pulled this up just to refresh anybody. This is like the first room that I built, and I didn't know what I was doing,
Awesome.
so I didn't know where to aim. So originally, it was just this, right? And this took a lot of time because this is modeled more cleanly, and well, it just is really ornate. so, so it was quite tedious. These were all constructed. It's very Art Nouveau. It's also not very modular. And then we started doing render tests, and it felt like the characters didn't really quite fit into this aesthetic. And so Miguel was like, "Why don't you try putting cloth in the walls?" And I was like, "What? Okay, let's try it." And then I did, and then it looks like this.
so
So
it looks like
Yeah.
Giger, but if Giger was a grandma.
Giger.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like Giger grandma.
Giger like to sew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Giger like to quilt.
so we ended up with this very strange aesthetic that
Yeah.
I
I
think
think the
kind of
cloth.
works.
Yeah, I think it definitely. I mean, I like it without the cloth too, but it's so unique with the cloth on it.
Well,
like-
it is what it is. And then there's the rug. So, now I'm doing the hallway.
Is this
And
like like that room looks important?
it is important room.
Yeah, that's the classroom. So that's where they're learning
Learning
their
magic.
magic. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where they're learning all their stuff. And the ceiling is actually really low, which was something that was weird for me. Because although I don't know why it's weird for me, because most of the time ceiling work doesn't show up in a shot.
Still okay.
But this would be Mayo. So Mayo, it's not Mayo, it's Caught, but he's basically a placeholder for Mayo. And then what we want in that scene, because Mayo can,
Neo could walk on walls and ceilings. He's the only one that could do that.
yes. So it was actually important. Let's hide this bad one. And Caught looks really funny without his clothes. So he looks so weird. But we did want Mayo and Caught to be able to interact like this. And so
Oh. Are you
Mayo's
guys
like
gonna?
really-
Oh, sorry. What was that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, are you guys gonna have to simulate all of these structures then, like as they're walking on them, because they're all made out
No,
of
we just
Yeah.
won't show the footsteps. We might show it on like
Oh,
one or two
Yeah,
shots.
it might be
Yeah.
shot modeled. We can just sculpt it for the
Gotcha.
shot. And
Yeah.
then yeah. No, that would be insane. This could not be
Yeah,
simmed. It would just blow up,
Yeah.
I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, so this would be like Mayo. So that's what I've been doing. It also increases the time a lot. The way this was approached was not very smart. So, and I didn't know, I actually didn't have this done. So I don't know if anyone was tracking what I was doing, which I don't think anyone was. This was just like a hole. And so now I built this window out, and then now I have the hallway here. And we decided not to go so, I don't know if this looks Geiger or Giger. Does it? Or is it kind of stepping away from it?
This one feels less Giger to me. The room feels more Giger.
Yeah. And that's kind of intentional. At the same time, because really this is, there are art direction things. So the main room is Art Nouveau-ish. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it, what it is. And this is clearly not Art Nouveau. It's like a completely different aesthetic. So part of me at first was like, oh, this is pretty easy. You just built this one section here, and you can see it repeats. but it would probably look maybe too aesthetically different. So I still try to, uh, I don't know, do something. And then at the same time, bring back some structure after making that by adding these repetitive shapes here. So that was my
It's
thought
really cool.
process. I don't know if any of that shows or it just sounds like a bunch of nonsense that I was
No, it's
talking.
No, it definitely shows.
But so this is more organic to line up with the interior here, and then this is more structured to feel more structured. And then this is made to look like bricks.
so we have to build like school lockers. We need to build chairs, stools.
Yeah.
We have some already. We have to build what else? Beds that are all. Do you have Cotton Mayo's room?
Yeah.
Show that.
I'll show that. Cotton Thinger's room, it's not finished. I'm also, I have to change the wall because we need windows. But it's okay. The wall wasn't that much work because it was really kind of a bunch of nonsense, and it looks a little bit like that. That's the room.
Yeesh.
That's the room. I don't know if I have a light in
Awesome.
here. I do. That brings it better.
Oh, that's super cool.
So the the walls look really quite busy, but once they're lit,
Nice.
they kind of disappear. Um, and that's not the color scheme. It just looks all blue. I don't know. I just made blue shaders because I don't know why actually. But these are their beds. So they, the feeling that we want to have is like that you want to be in that room, right? I want to be in that
Yeah.
room. Everyone wants to be in that room. Um, there's a shelf here, which I think is quite cute. A little couch.
So like, did you is it the same method that you used for the like the hallway and
Yes, it's
the
actually the
classroom?
same. So
That's how
this
you
was
did it.
built like this was you know, a disc, and that was just quilted on top. And I
And then
did a
you drew
couple,
the patterns. Oh,
yeah, variations. It's a chair of some sort. so, so they have a desk to work on. Um, and then we did decide to like let some things be metal. So there's some variation. But if I show
that's great.
maybe file one, let's see what that looks like. This was the block out. This is the little guy laying here. He's also really has a big head. So it
Yeah.
was a little bit weird um, going, okay, when he sits, how will he, does his head fit? Well, I don't know. I guess it would make him crouched over. So those were adjusted. But basically a basic mesh and then just drawn on top of, and then until we get that look. But yeah, so, I feel like once I get the hallway done, I feel much more on track and better on time. I do constantly have a feeling of like, oh, I'm not working fast enough, stuff like that. But I think once this is complete, it will be much nicer, and because it will be more modular, whereas this one is not modular.
Yeah.
So it's hard
I
to
just I can't believe like the moth even has anything to do with
this
any
world.
of this stuff, you know? Because it's all
That's
like so
why it's
cute and
cool.
plushy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you what the textured bed looks like. It's really cute. Um, I've shown it before, but I'll show it again.
You know,
Let's see some of the
the way
comments.
I look at it though is because the moth totally doesn't look like it belongs here is exactly why it's gonna work because
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is the
for sure.
predator, right? And it's like a baby duck and a crocodile, right? They're part of the same world, but they could not be more
Yeah.
extremely different. That's kind of what we want, like baby duck and crocodile.
Let me look
So
at
are
some.
they
Go ahead.
oh go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, so um uh like are the moths coming and invading
Yeah.
them? Like what's separating like the cloth world from like the moth's hive? Like
So, so
what's interesting?
the world is not made out of cloth. Their world is made out of cloth. Their their colony is made out of cloth.
Yeah, they're cloth people.
Their queen sews everything, and they all work with fabric, and that's their world. But outside of that, it's kind of like humans use wood and metal to build structures. Uh, Moths don't, right? They're
Yeah.
using a
Yeah.
completely different thing. A bird is using
Yeah, like if they
twigs
leave
and whatever.
their colony, dirt is dirt, rock is rock.
Yeah, the
Oh,
world is.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a completely normal world, but in
I
their
see. I see.
world, their city, everything is made out of cloth. They're cloth people.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Then we have the
Okay.
garbage people, which we're not ready to show yet, but
Yeah, we have garbage people
but they're basically like a gang of musicians that
That are
live in
made-
pumpkins.
that are made out of garbage.
Yeah.
So, let's check out some of the
Sick.
comments. This is really nice.
That looks awesome.
I am the Tranma. Thank you
Hey.
for having my stuff in there.
Who put that? Who said that?
Quick synth.
The Tranma. The one and only
Famous
Tranma.
Tran.
I didn't know I was the Tranma, but thank you. Now I am the Tranma. And then there's another one. Weren't you guys going to call it There's Something Wrong with Mayo at one point? Yes, we did. And then that was when we didn't have the story locked down.
That's what we took. We took 2 months off to nail down the story, and the thing that happened is our story really is about Kwahk, the main little guy.
The one with the
And-
balls on the head.
Yeah, and by naming it, There's Something Wrong about Mayo, we were kind of losing the direction of the story. So there is still something weird about Mayo for sure, but that's not the central theme.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something wrong with all our guys, right? Kwahk
Yeah.
stutters. Mayo is kind of on the spectrum a little bit. The professor's missing an arm. They're all imperfect characters, and that's what we want. And we don't want to make it about that. We don't want to preach it. We don't want to message anything. That's just what they are, right?
Yeah. So they're the, I feel we relate to this. They're the underdogs.
They're the underdogs.
Yeah. So, a lot of things that I'll just move this around, that inspire us. Anyway, you can see
Yeah.
I think this looks cute. I want to sleep in here. So,
Yeah, for sure.
a lot of things that inspire us, like, Miguel loves Star Wars. I like Star Wars. Miguel loves Star Wars. I like Harry Potter. I love Hero's Journey story, right? So those
Yeah.
stories like really speak to me and to both of us. And we thought about like, okay, we kind of want that influence. Like we want like this to actually be an epic fantasy story. That's why we don't want to end it in the short, because we feel there's a bigger story there. But at the same time, did we really want our main characters to be chosen, right? So, Harry Potter was chosen, and
Like the chosen one.
yeah, they were like the chosen one. They're destined to be this epic great hero, and Luke is the same. But I don't know. It just felt like, even though I like that, we didn't want to tell that story because we don't relate to it in that way.
Yeah, the chosen one in a way is kind of like
Someone that's
a rich kid.
yeah, someone that was born more into it, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you
It's
didn't
like
really
privilege.
do the work. You just had destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that we still like those stories. I just think that when you are in the seat of a writer, it changes things. Like now you have to write that. Like you can like different kinds of art. There's a lot of art I like that I would not do that type of art myself, even though I like it. You know what I mean? So it's the same with the story. We didn't. It didn't resonate with us to have a chosen one be
Uh-huh.
our main character.
We have a chosen one, but
Yes.
he's not our main guy.
No, we do. I'll show you.
Is
Show
that
what it-
Mayo?
No.
No.
Mayo is the chosen one? No.
See that's very interesting that you thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys were going to name it, There's Something Wrong with Mayo.
But it's not anymore.
This is the chosen one.
Yeah, this is our chosen guy.
Nice.
So he's
I like his
Name
nose.
is currently Zord, and he's like the Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So
We'll get you a hat like that at the end of the production, David.
yeah,
Sick.
his design. I don't know. What do you think when you look at him? Like,
Uh, what do I think?
yeah, like how does he feel as a character?
Open him in substance.
Uh,
Uh,
oh, let's open him in substance. He's not textured yet. I did bring him in just to paint eyeballs. So these guys don't have like traditional eyeballs. They just have spears in their head.
they have spears.
Yeah, like you know how technically an eyeball is modeled out. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
or-
yeah, 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 yeah.
these guys don't have that. Those type like human eyes.
Are their
This is-
eyes like buttons?
No, they just are kind of like painted
Like
in.
marbles.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
like
I see.
marbles. Because they're not human. But while that's loading, I'll bring in just so you can see how these characters line up next to each other.
Uh,
That's caught. And let's bring in Mayo.
You should just save that file as a lineup.
Yeah, let's do that. Mayo's the smallest guy. And then let's bring in the professor. Oops. Hold on. That substance just popped up. I think Zord, yeah, Zord's here. That's loading. But this is our lineup. So we try to design these characters to have like personality in their faces.
yeah.
So when you look at them, you feel a certain way, right?
Mayo looks like a psychopath.
He's kind of a psychopath.
Okay.
And he is a little bit of a psychopath in a way.
Yeah, he kind of is.
It's not that
He looks
what
crazy.
he is he acts first and then thinks about it. And yeah,
he's a
he's
good-
all reactionary.
He's a good kid.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Yeah.
And that's Caught.
That
Caught
is
is
so
what's
cute.
built to be a little bit insecure looking.
Yeah.
In his eyes, in the default mouth.
Yeah.
And Zor is tall, like in this comment here.
Because he's like, he's like the savior.
He's like
He's
the
the
only
Thread
one.
Tempest. That's actually
Yeah.
his
Like he has a
title.
neck.
Yeah. That actually is a crown. You totally nailed it, Bobby. It's a silly crown.
So his name, like he's
He's
the
a-
Thread Tempest.
He is actually the Thread Tempest, which is a silly name. Every time Miguel says it, or if I say it, I kind of laugh. I mean, what kind of name is that?
So stupid.
The Thread Tempest. It feels stupid, but it feels right. I don't know. So yeah, Mayo is, Caught is this. Professor is cranky.
Yeah. He looks jaded.
He's
Yeah.
jaded. He's lost an arm in battle,
No
so
arm.
he's no longer the warrior he used to be. So
Yeah.
now he's cranky that he's stuck teaching these kids when he should be out in battle. However, he's now responsible for training the Thread Tempest.
Yeah. So his face when he was made first, he looked really cranky, and I thought it would look really fun if he had this collar. So, which is kind of goofy. And then these things here, this is all marvelous. It's going to be simmed. So these guys
Nice.
kind of bounce around like these little balls. So he has like these bouncy things with his collar, and it's just to kind of soften him up.
I really
And this
like his
guy,
ears. Like, I
This
don't know
one?
why. Yeah,
I like his ears too. He's like the only one who has.
look like
well, Mayo
dumplings.
has ears.
Yeah.
He has the boxer ears.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then- Zor is, I don't know what you feel about him. I guess that's my question. How does he feel as if you look at his
Um,
face
His face?
or just his personality?
Hmm. He looks like, I don't know, like the perfect A student.
Okay, that's great. He's a little. That's what he is. He's a little ambiguous and a little bit perfect.
Yeah, like I feel like personality-wise, Mayo and Cott look a lot more interesting.
Yeah, he's kind of made to not be.
Do you have
Okay,
the
yeah.
substance file open?
Let's see. There you are.
Oh my god, that's actually kind of terrifying.
Is it?
A little bit. He looks too human.
Well, I think. Well, he doesn't have any cloth yet, so we'll
Yeah.
see. He does kind of look more human, though, right? But it's okay. I
He
think.
does, but he doesn't. Like when I'm looking at him, because since my computer's frozen, I have to look over. Like from a distance, it just looks like two dots and a happy face, right? Like a smile. It looks like a happy face, like an emoji.
Yeah, he is. He's a little bit tricky to design because of what he needs to be later.
Yeah.
He does kind of look. I can see what you mean, but I think this will work for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. He's gonna have the most personality change.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna have the greatest personality change. So his design is a little bit difficult. We did have a previous design, and it was completely different. So, and then we decided not to go with that. I'll load it. That was his previous design.
That's so different.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he looks too much like a
bully.
which we didn't
Yeah, he
want.
looks
That.
mean.
Yeah, so that wasn't. I mean, well, I don't know. He'll be a background character, maybe. Oh, background character.
Yeah. Originally, he was supposed to be a design that I had done for. I wanted to do an animation about a punk band that kind of sucks at playing music, so they decide to become filmmakers, and they suck at that too. And I wanted to just make a short about that, and that was an early design for that.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
they're called the 666s.
Um,
We'll go
The
back to that
666s.
later.
Yeah, let's see some of the comments. Well, Bobby, I'm glad you like the name. Is there any inspiration from Jan? I don't know who that is.
Who?
Jan Svankmajer?
That's a Polish stop motion animator from. He did like some of the. He was like the inspiration for a lot of the Tool videos.
Oh, okay. Well, since I didn't know his name, I don't think it could have directly inspired it. Just pulling up some Google images. Oh, I think I've seen this. This is very beautiful.
Yeah, his stuff is super influential. He inspired like
This is amazing.
all that. What's the name of the two stop motion brothers? I forget. They did like the crocodile tears, and that they inspired the Tool videos.
Yeah. No, I mean we weren't, but his stuff is like amazing.
Yeah.
I know I've seen like these two heads kissing, and I was like, I still remember that. It was so weird at the time because of yeah, amazing stuff. Wow, that's really cool. It's taking his brain out. Really neat. It's really well sculpted too.
It's horrifying.
Yeah. No, so not directly at all, but yeah. So this is what, where we're at.
Makes me laugh.
What, this guy?
Yeah. His face. So derpy.
It's derpy or creepy?
Derpy.
Okay. Yeah, derpy is. He's supposed to be ambiguous.
To me, he's supposed to be like the most perfect student that is all kind of zen and super chill and super. He's kind of annoying in how perfect he is, and he lives
Yeah,
in the best house. He doesn't cuss. The teachers
Yeah.
love him, and everyone just wants to like
Perfect
hit
A
him.
student.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very good student. You know what's weird about this guy though, is like the way, like any change in the eyeball size, like changes this character so much. So if I just go like give him really big eyes or irises, I feel like he starts to feel like very different.
Aw.
Do you know what I mean? Did he feel
Yeah,
different?
just
So like
immediately
his
looks cuter.
yeah, it's I'm not used to working in this aesthetic. I mean, I don't know what this aesthetic is, but uh, but small changes make a really big difference in this simple face. Like
Yeah,
maybe if I
it's
go
like
for something,
super stylized.
yeah, well, it is super stylized. It's something. But yeah, that's what we have. So,
Awesome.
in any case, any last words, Miguel?
No, I wanted to show some of the stuff that I was working on, but my computer's completely frozen, and if I shut down, I'll just show it next week because I'm not even that happy with it. So I'm working on, uh, it's called Death's Head Mountain, which is where all the moths live. I showed it last week, the hive interior that I did, but now I wanted to show the outside. And it's very much, again, this is like a love letter to the 80s, so it's very much inspired by like Castle Grayskull and shaped like a skull, super corny, and yeah, it's where the bad moths live.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
So
The hive
yeah,
looks hideous, by the way.
yeah, the hive is really. I was really happy with that, and I tried to. Um, we talked about this last week, but I did it entirely using Adobe Modeler.
Oh,
So
cool.
I wanted to see how that is, like that voxel stuff, primarily because I wanted to just be able to go in and punch holes into the model wherever I wanted to and not
Yeah,
worry about the topology or weird Boolean stuff. So I was just like going in there, you could just, if you push into the clay, eventually it just makes a hole on the other side. And
oh,
I love
nice.
that. So
Yeah, it's really nice. You should try it out. I think you would like it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
couple of
It's
last comments. I like the newer version. Thank you. If this is a game, I totally play it. It looks fun as a game actually. Um, and you could rig the iris change with smooth. Definitely, I think we'll be doing stuff with Zort's eyes for sure.
Yeah, Zord is in many ways intentionally looks vanilla because he's gonna have the most amount of
uh
change.
Yeah,
I see.
He's gonna at the end he's gonna look kind of crazy.
yeah. So he's meant to look like a face that could go in multiple directions.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy just looks like a bad guy. I mean, he looks like a bully, right?
Yeah, he looks mean.
He- yeah, he looks mean
But
and
every
not
classroom
intelligent.
needs a bully too,
Yeah.
you know.
But no, that's the thing. I didn't want bullies.
No bullies.
No.
Well, we didn't want the antagonist to be like when we were writing the scenes with bullying, we just felt like it was like, oh god, I never liked bullies in movies.
Uh-huh.
Um, so we were like, let's try to find a different approach to it. I like Biff from Back to the Future, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, it, we didn't want it to be that kind of high school film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, yeah. Um, I mean, if there was a bully, I guess, it's kind of like making Draco Malfoy. And as much
Yeah.
as I like Harry Potter, we just didn't want to do that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And again, we didn't go with the chosen one, even though we like chosen stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, so let's wrap it up. So that's all we got for this week. Thank you, David, for coming in. I can't click on anything, so can you show David's ArtStation one more time?
Let me pull it up.
Oh,
James,
Or, yeah, put the link.
just a link, yeah.
Thank you.
So
thanks
take a
guys.
look at David's work, and thank you, David, for your help on this. Like we really appreciate it. We are definitely trying to do something more ambitious with this piece, and so bringing in guys like you, um, something that we really need, and you're the perfect person. So thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Yeah, thank you
of
so
course.
much. Stuff
Yeah,
is looking really
my
great.
pleasure. Yeah, you guys always work on, really cool projects, so it's fun to be a part of them for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Good to
and-
have you.
Yeah, yeah, super good. And that's it. So I can't get us out of here. So James, if you want to close this up, thanks everybody for tuning in, and
We'll be back next week.
we'll be back. See ya.
Bye, everyone.